So hopefully you took a couple of moments to think about the answers to the line chart question in letter D in terms of snow accumulation. If you're really not sure how to interpret this in terms of snow accumulation, let's see if this will help. The first thing I want to do is just remind ourselves that our answers to letter D are about big F. And big F, according to letter A, was the total number of inches of snow that fell. So F is measured in inches, if that helps. Now, the reason I'm putting that in those terms is because if I want to think about inches, then I'm going to replace the word big F with the word inches in my phrasing, and I'm going to read back my answers to myself. Big F increases on this interval, which means the number of inches increases on this interval. The number of inches of snow increases on this interval. So that means when I'm looking at these intervals, like 0 to 3, that means from time 0 to time 3, so that would be like the first 3 hours of snowfall from time 0 to time 3, the number of inches of snow increases. Now, if you use that as a literal translation, that might help just so you can kind of make sense of what you're hearing. From time 0 to time 3, the number of inches, big F, number of inches, the number of inches of snow increases. Now, that of course is what we've been calling snowfall, so you can say from time 0 to time 3, the amount of snowfall increases. But from time 0 to time 3, the number of inches of snow increases. Now, that wasn't the only answer where there was an increase. You could also say, and again from 0 to 5, or sorry, from 5 to 6.5. So however you want to phrase this, but from time 0 to time 3, and again from time 0, or sorry, keep saying it, time 5 to time 6.5, the number of inches of snow increases. So as you're thinking about this, and I'm just recopying it so you can think about it in those terms, the number of inches of snow increases, which means that if the snow is falling for that first 3 hours, picture what would happen if you were staring outside the window at this place where the snow is falling. So this local mountain ski resort, something like that. If you stared out the window from time 0 to time 3, you would be seeing the number of inches of snow slowly pile up and pile up and pile up. For that first 3 hours, the amount of snow, the total number of inches of a pile of snow, is going to increase and increase and increase. That total number of inches is going to make the snowfall pile up. Again, from time 5 to time 6.5, it's going to happen. So, assuming you walked back, and from time 5 to time 6.5, again, you would be looking out the window and watching the amount of snow increase and increase and increase. So, likewise, if we think about the other answer that we have, what could be happening to the snowfall when big F is decreasing? So remember how big F is inches? Replace that phrase, big F, with the word inches. From, and I'm copying out my answer here, from time 3 to time 5, and I'm replacing the big F here. Instead of the letters big F, I'm thinking number of inches. The number of inches of snow decreases. So let's think about that for a second. If for the first 3 hours the number of inches of snow increases, then it kind of makes sense for the next little while the number of inches of snow is going to decrease. And then again, at time 5, it's going to start to increase again. That makes sense. If you picture having a time-lapse video of a bunch of snow falling to the ground, you could kind of picture that happening. For the first 3 hours, the pile of snow is getting bigger and bigger, the number of inches increases. Then for the next couple of hours, the number of inches of snow is going to decrease, maybe it's melting a little bit. And then again at time 5, for the next little bit, it's going to increase again. That does seem to make sense. Now, of course, I have a little bit more of my answer. Again, from time 6.5 to time 8, the number of inches of snow is going to decrease again. So I'm getting a little bit sloppier here, but hopefully you can follow my logic. And now we can think about this sort of time lapse and make sure that that makes sense. From time 0 to time 3, the number of inches of snow increases. From time 3 to time 5, it decreases. At time 5, it increases again for another hour and a half. And then at that hour and a half mark till the end of the time at time 8, it decreases. That does seem to make sense. I can picture that happening. So that, in context, must be what's happening with the snow. The derivative that we found in part D is giving us a sense of what's really happening with that snowfall. Now that we've seen that, let's try, if we can, to continue to kind of marry those two ideas together. The ideas of calculus answers we're getting and the context in question letter F. In question letter F, it wants us to once again use our answer to part D. So that was our line chart. And it says we want to analyze the absolute extrema of big F. Extrema are minimum and maximum values. So now here's the question. Can you find minimum and maximum values from a line chart? If so, how? So I want to pose that as an open question to you, a review question, if you will. We haven't talked for quite some time about min and max, or extrema, but if you have a line chart that has information, that should be enough info to help us determine a min and a max value. Let's leave that as an open challenge. See if you can answer as much of question letter F as you can remember from memory. If you're not sure, then the next video will explain.